Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. Alright, let's go ahead and let's do another chapter from the wonderful book Through a Misted Glass by Dr. David Marsh. I've already captured 3 chapters here within this playlist. In this case, we're going to talk about chapter 4. Again, if you haven't had a chance to see those videos, check them out. You'll see them on some of the recommendations, some of my past videos as well. Plus, I'll include the link below for the book itself, which is again 100% free. You can download it and then read all these chapters at your own glory. This one has to do with a strange curse that was placed on a doll that haunted a young Japanese girl. Pretty sad stuff when you're thinking about this afterward. I'll give my own thoughts and opinions on it too, but it has to do with this. It involves Fumiko and the cursed doll. So here's essentially what chapter 4 states. This is perhaps the saddest, strangest cursed story I have ever seen or heard of. Fumiko was a bright, vibrant young Japanese girl living in Tokyo. She had a great job, a great education, and great prospects for her life. Then she met Hiroshi. At first, things went really well. They had common interests, enjoyed each other's company, and were falling in love, but this only lasted a year. Fumiko said Hiroshi started making difficult demands on her time and was showing signs of intent to abuse her physically. Despite the fact that both Hiroshi and Fumiko's parents approved of the relationship and possible marriage, Fumiko broke off the relationship. According to her, Hiroshi took the breakup badly, and finally, after a month of fighting over the dissolution of the relationship, Hiroshi went to a practitioner of supernatural arts and paid to have a curse cast upon Fumiko. One night, after going out on a date with another man, Fumiko returned home to find a straw doll placed on her pillow. She was near hysteria when she phoned her father and the police. Investigations failed to determine how the dolls were placed into her room or by whom. This happened 6 more times, and each time after a date, and each time the police could not find no means of entry, nor could they determine the origin of these dolls. Police were skeptical about Fumiko's claim that Hiroshi had cursed her, but they interrogated Hiroshi each time. Hiroshi denied any involvement, provided a solid alibi, and even claimed that Fumiko had become the strange acting participant in their relationship, as it was he who broke it off, not her. The police had no evidence to arrest or detain Hiroshi. After some discussion with her parents, it was decided Fumiko should move to another city, leaving no forwarding information. She transferred to Nagasaki. It would be 5 more months until Fumiko dated, and once again, upon her return, there was a straw doll on her pillow. Nagasaki police failed to determine how the perpetrator gained entry or who had made the doll. This happened 4 more times over a 3-year period, each event placing more and more stress on Fumiko, and each time Hiroshi was questioned and removed from the suspect list. Police tried surveillance, cameras, and other means of catching the perpetrator, but to no avail. Fumiko would go on a date, and suddenly the doll would be there, on her pillow when she returned. No one went in or out during the time of the date, prior to the date, or even weeks before the date, and so the police were mystified. In desperation, Fumiko accepted a company transfer to Sydney, Australia, in hopes she could escape this curse. Again, the scenario played out as before. Any date was followed by a doll on her pillow, and again, the police were unable to determine who placed the doll or how. And again, Hiroshi was questioned and denied any involvement, denied hiring someone to cast a curse, and maintained it was he who broke things off. Fumiko suffered weightless, sleep deprivation, and a number of other stress-related physiological effects. She stopped dating, but said she still had the occasional feeling as though someone or something was watching her. She remained in Sydney for 5 years and quit her job, accepting a position with another company, and moved to Los Angeles, California. She told no one, not even her parents. She placed her last hope on this move to finally dodge the curse. But she was in no hurry to test out the new surroundings by dating, and it would be almost a year before she did. Once again, the doll appeared and she was crushed by the curse's tenacity. She called her parents, who were worried, and everyone agreed it was time to call in experts. It was through the grapevine that Fumiko found me. I was in Washington State attending a conference when a student research assistant called and told me Fumiko's story. I contacted friends and set up a team to look into this curse. We performed every test and analysis we could. We asked for and received several of the dolls and any associated evidence from many of Fumiko's former cities of residence. Each doll was made from local material, nothing anomalous. We pored over family, friends, and Fumiko and Hiroshi's testimony, police reports, and videotape. We found nothing. However, a very astute research assistant had one final idea. Perhaps it was Fumiko who made and placed the dolls. He and another RA set up a date for Fumiko, but followed her every move with care prior to the date. They searched her home carefully and found no hidden dolls, telling Fumiko they were looking for supernatural traces. Now, the day before that date, Fumiko got into her car and drove. She went far from LA into farming country. She was not aware that the two RAs were following. She finally stopped at a hayfield. There, under the watchful video eye of the RA's camera, they observed Fumiko cut hay stalks, bind them into a doll, all the while appearing to be singing a song the RAs could not identify. Then she packed up and left to return to LA. We waited for her to go on the date, watching on cameras installed with Fumiko's permission, and though we almost missed it, we saw the final incriminating act. Fumiko had placed her laundry basket on the bed, removed the clothing, and almost before it could be seen, removed the basket and flipped the cover over the doll in one slick movement. In slow motion, it was clearly evident, but the camera had not lied. I told the RA to enter Fumiko's apartment and remove the doll while Fumiko was on her date. She returned and went to her bed to look for the doll. When she did not find it, she searched the entire apartment. That's when we knocked on her door. Fumiko barely stopped searching, and when we were finally able to get her attention, we showed her the doll. I spoke quietly, calmly, and with confidence as I related what we had seen, showed her the video, and asked her why. She continually denied what we showed her. She said the curse was real, and Hiroshi had made it so. Fumiko began to cry and became hysterical. She called her parents and gave a very different story of what we had done. She ordered us out of her home and refused to see us again. 2 days later, her parents arrived, refused to listen to us or view the evidence, and took Fumiko home to Japan. Neither Fumiko nor her parents would return correspondence or phone calls, and I never saw her again. I later contacted Hiroshi, and this is what he told me. I left Fumiko. She was possessive and jealous of any girl I spoke to, or she imagined I spoke to, though I had no romantic thoughts of anyone but Fumiko. Her behavior became odd, and I would find things of mine destroyed, so I left. I was ashamed to tell my parents, so I let Fumiko's story of deciding to break up stand. I never hired a witch or desired to harm Fumiko. Frankly, I was glad she was out of my life. Then the police started coming, asking where I had been, if I had done all these crazy things to Fumiko. Of course I had not, and my movements and locations were all verifiable. But the police still seemed to think I had something to do with it. They even followed me sometimes, questioned my friends and family, and pried into my private life. I didn't care. I had nothing to hide. I wish her only good things and hope this is finally over for the both of us. And then that's it. That's everything having to do with this strange, almost scary tale associated with chapter 4. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that here. First of all, what a twist, right? This is almost like something straight out of a M. Shalaman, I think that's his name, Shalaman, film. Something where you expect something to happen and then the rug gets pulled under and you find out, nope, it's something else. So in this case, this poor dude Hiroshi, he truly was innocent. This cursed doll and these dolls that were apparently left in her apartments wherever she moved, despite her claim stating that this was done by him, that he had gone to some witch or someone else to create these curses, that they were almost like manifesting these dolls out of thin air. None of it was true. It was absolutely just Fumiko, who was jealous, who apparently did not take that breakup well at all, and wanted to make sure that she would have this revenge associated with Hiroshi, make his life basically a living hell, for making sure that she knows this is what happens when you dump me. And the idea kind of to form, obviously, in some people, especially with looks like the author, Dr. David Marsh, when you have somebody that moves about from one town to another and then finally moves to another country and it's still happening, very little chance that this guy Hiroshi had anything to do with it. Who knows? There may still be some black magic out there that could come into play, but that is a stretch. It makes much more sense that yes, this truly would be something associated with Fumiko. Why she was doing this, it's just hard to say. It is a tragic tale, as Dr. David Marsh was mentioning at the beginning. This breakup essentially just caused her to this thing, just monster of sorts, just controlled her entire life. All she thought about was this breakup, and no matter what she was doing, it was for school, for work, dating life, and so on, she wanted to make sure that this breakup was the number one factor in her life. So she made up this story and then continued to do these false incriminations associated with these haunted or cursed dolls. The fact that she had to travel so far away just to make sure that nobody could see her do it, and if it wasn't for those RAs tracking her all that far away to that area involving that hay feed, then they wouldn't have seen her. Nobody would have guessed that she was doing it basically on her own. Fascinating tale, but still pretty scary one, considering the lengths that someone would go to when it comes to just having jealousy and some kind of vengeful attitude. But that's pretty much it. That's everything associated with this chapter 4. So let me know what you guys think. Post your comments below. Love to hear your thoughts on this tragic story, and then I'll gladly continue some of those other chapters soon. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.